deal with female tegus that are being aggressive with their mate. So this next part gets a little up close and personal, just a little warning. And you'll see he'll scratch with his back leg. See if he can get her to lift his tail. Here it is from the top view. All right guys, in this video I'm gonna show you this new animal I got. This has been a dream animal of mine and probably of yours. The Indominus Rex. Never seen before. Oh my gosh. Come here. So in this video I'm gonna show you exactly how we deal with female tegus that are being aggressive with their mate or their cage mate, and how we still successfully breed them even when there's complications. So if you're interested in that, follow along to the end of this video, like and subscribe. So without going into too many details about what happened in the actual enclosure, let me just go ahead and just touch on it briefly. We had some fire ants in the enclosure. Okay, I thought the fire ants bit Mako. He has some marks on his back. Turns out it wasn't the fire ants at all. I took care of them, treated them, took care of the problem altogether, but it wasn't the fire ants that bit Mako. It was Pumpkin. It's not a bad bite at all. It's just like one scratch, but I noticed it. I noticed that he was uncomfortable in the enclosure. I thought it was because of the ants, but no, it was because Pumpkin was dominating the enclosure like some females will do during breeding season. That's why it's super important to know your animals. Just from Mako pacing and not going in his hide, it was enough. I could just tell. I know my animals. I can tell that something was off, and so I got in the enclosure and I got a closer look, and that's whenever I realized that Pumpkin was being a very dominant and controlling the space inside the hide. So she has now been separated and put into her own enclosure. I do believe that Pumpkin is at the early stages of being gravid. I'm still able to breed Mako with Pumpkin, but that cannot be done unsupervised to me. Once a female is aggressive towards a male, like she was, and it, you know, cuts the skin, or even if it's a small scratch, I just don't take those chances. I'm a big baby when it comes to that stuff, but I'd rather be safe than sorry, and so that's why I separated her. I've still bred him since then with her, like, I think 4 times now. And so what I do is I take Mako, box him up, move him, put him in the enclosure with her, and I stand there like a creep, like a big weirdo, and I watch them. And it's just, and I'm prepared. I have like a little tool, it's just a lid that I use that separates the enclosure in two. Because it's a smaller enclosure that I keep them in when these types of things are going on. And so I'm prepared and I'm ready to break up any fighting. I have had 0 issues. He goes in there, he breeds her, I take him out, put him back in his enclosure. So it's been pretty seamless, but let me show you guys what that looks like. I'm actually gonna get Mako out, box him up, and I'm gonna put him in there with Pumpkin. So let's do that right now. Okay, like I said, we're gonna get Mako, pull him out, and stick him in there with Pumpkin to breed. Also, like this video, my wife is behind the camera recording. She was taking a little siesta. I woke her up just to film this, so sorry. But usually when I open this up, Mako will come on over. If not, I can grab him, I take him, and I put him in this transportation tote. I think he's learned kind of what this is and what's happening. He doesn't seem to mind going in here at all. So I take him across the yard. And here's Pumpkin's enclosure that she's currently staying in. Alright, so what I do is I actually take the hide out to give them more space. And then I will take Mako out. Now, obviously, I'm not going to drop him right on top of her, but I'm going to put him right there. And I'm going to actually leave the enclosure open. Okay. I now have the camera back. My wife's going inside. But I'll kind of talk you guys through a little bit of what's going on here. If you can see, the enclosure is only 2 feet wide, okay? It's a very long enclosure, but it's only 2 feet wide, which works out perfectly with this lid. If they were fighting, what I do is I break it apart and I stick the lid in. It's a snug fit and it separates the tegus.
Yeah.
Now, I haven't had any problems with any aggression whatsoever since they were in the other enclosure. But right now what he's doing is he is taking deep breaths.
We saw this last
putting his jowls on her back, and he is going to see him dragging his hind end. He's not now, but he was. He's kind of marking his scent around the enclosure. Pumpkin will probably run back and forth through the enclosure as Mako kind of stalks her and attempts to breed with her. Now, I'll kind of walk y'all through this, what you can expect and what is normal. All of this is normal right now. He is, you know, vibrating those jowls on her back. He's gonna nibble at her tail a little bit, and she's just gonna make him put up, you know, put in some effort. I know what's normal for her. Normal for her is running back and forth. Sometimes she'll do like light nibbles, but if she were to like all out attack him or bite him, that would not be normal, and I would pull him out and they would be done for the season. But all of this is normal. So we use these enclosures, I believe they're 2x8s. We use them for things like this, for breeding females that are being aggressive. And then we also use them for our gravid females to lay their eggs in. If you notice the metal sides, it gives them nice security compared to the welded wire enclosures. So that added security is nice for the nesting females. And we have had good success using these smaller enclosures for the females once they're gravid. But you can hear him, you know, I call it chuffing and vibrating those jowls. So what typically happens, I don't know if they're there yet, they might be, but once he tires her out a bit, not that she's tired, but you know, she will give up eventually, and then what he'll do is he'll rest on her back. That's what it seems like. He will like almost take a break. He'll lay on her and just rest, and then he usually gives it like a minute, and then boom, he bursts with like a ton of energy, and he breeds her no matter how hard she tries to get away. So it's like after that resting period, sometimes he'll do a little dance with his back legs, but after that little resting period, the next time he attempts to breed, he gets her. I think that's what's happening now. So you'll see he's gonna scratch with his back leg and get her to lift his tail, and he will breed with her. So I think he was just resting there. And the next attempt by him will, I would bet money on it that it will be successful. So yeah, all that I can think of is that it's they come up with the game plan and they reserve their energy. First saw this, I thought like, oh, why does the male just like give up? And it's not. They're not giving up. They are just coming up with a game plan, making sure they have plenty of energy reserve, and then they go for it. So there's a little Tegu dance. You can't see it very well, but he's kind of moving his back legs. So it seems like he is resting for a while. So I won't make y'all watch this for the entire time, even though some of you probably would like to, but I will cut back when he is trying to breed with her. Okay, so that is the red Tegu's breeding. That's Mako and Pumpkin. That's a repeat breeding from last season. They produced some incredible babies. Very happy with those high white reds. I mean, they are just phenomenal. So next thing I do is I actually get Mako, put him back in the tub, put him back in his enclosure, and we'll be right back. So while filming that video, I was actually working in the backyard and I got distracted and forgot to film the outro to this video that you're watching now. So we got Mako back in his enclosure. Everyone's happy, everything's good. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you learned something, or at least just enjoyed seeing how Rose City Reptiles deals with those more difficult situations when it comes to breeding your Tegus. Subscribe if you haven't. We're about to hit 400, and by the time this video goes up, we might actually be at 400, so let's push 500. Subscribe to the channel, let's keep going. I appreciate all the support we've been getting, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye. Wait, I think I heard something down here. What was that?